Cardinals Corner from Arizona Sports.
Cardinals Corner from Arizona Sports with Tyler Drake and Lauren Koval.
What's going on, Bird Gang? Welcome back to another edition of Cardinals Corner. I'm Tyler Drake. That's Lauren Koval. But today, we got a special guest. I know we just got back from Indianapolis, so why not talk to somebody who is on the field, actually playing during all the joint practice, during the water, and who played on Saturday, the one and only Kelvin Beachum. How about that? So let's get right into it. We've got a lot of things to cover with him, including how joint practice looks, some of the rookies that are standing out to him, his prior comments about Kyler Murray and needing to mature more, and if he's seeing that growth, and a whole lot more. So let's dive right in.
Cardinals Corner.
All right, Beach, how's it going, man? Good to see you again. What's been going on with you?
Off day, in the middle of camp. Just got back from Indy this weekend. Excited for the Broncos this coming up weekend, and continuing to fight for a roster spot. Nothing is ever guaranteed, and you fight till you're told to stop fighting, and then you see what happens when the dust settles. So it's always a joy to play this game. It's always a joy to go through training camp. It's always a joy to spend time with teammates in this capacity. So excited for where we're at as a team. Excited for this point in my career, still being able to compete during training camp, and excited for what's next.
Do you do anything special after you know that you've made the roster? Is there any kind of celebration you have? Maybe going to dinner or anything like that?
No, because that's not when the season. Well, that's not when it really. It's an achievement. I put it that way. It's an achievement. But honestly, man, I just try to get away. I've always been somewhere else when roster cuts are made. This year, working on getting up to the Great Northwest for a little bit, just to be in the greenery for a little bit and decompress for a little bit. One year we went up to Arizona, which I would not recommend for anybody. I'm not a fan of Arizona. We went up to Arizona for one of those weekends, and went and saw the Grand Canyon as well. So it's a way to get away and a way to unplug. Went to Sedona one year, so
nice.
You find ways to utilize that time, between roster cuts and knowing whether you made the roster. And I'm a big believer. You don't make the roster until they're kicking the ball off on Sunday. To be honest with you, so until you've made it all up until Sunday, when your jersey's in the locker for game one, that's when you know it is official. And by that time, you have no time to celebrate because you got to go play a football game. And the hope is to be in Buffalo at Orchard Park, jersey in my locker, getting ready to gear up and go play the Buffalo Bills.
100%. Well, speaking of joint practice, what's the biggest thing you felt like you and the team got out of that? Just being in Indy, having that extended time with the Colts. Obviously, you guys played on Saturday. Just overall, what did you get out of that?
I think for one, team camaraderie. So many guys, playing pool, playing cornhole, spending time with each other, going out to dinner, going for walks, like those types of experiences are things that you can't get back. So although it was extended, it was long, it was great to be in a hotel, but at some point in time, the bed starts to sink and it starts to warp, especially for a big guy. You always enjoy your bed and realize how fortunate you are to have a good bed. But it's one of those things, man. You have the camaraderie that continues to take place, and then you also have great competition that takes place on the field. And that was a really good defense, a really good front. We play, more of a 3-down kind of hybrid team, on a consistent basis in our defense, and to go there and see that defense, which is a more jet technique 4-down type team, more similar to the San Francisco 49ers, and being able to get a sense of the speed and somebody coming out of a three-point stance was good for us, and I think really did a really good job for us understanding, especially offensive line-wise, how to take care of double teams, how to run off the ball in the zone game and be able to make sure that our angles are right with more penetrating types of teams. So it was really good. It was good for us.
Nice.
You talked about that team camaraderie and about how important that is. Is there a rookie on this team that you've sort of taken a mentorship wing with, or somebody who stands out in your eyes?
I haven't. I give rookies a hard time, just to be honest with you. So it's like a love-hate relationship. I love you, but just be quiet. It's your time will come, and there'll be many a times where you have plenty of time to talk. But it's like, and I might have been this way as well as a rookie. But it's like you get into a locker room and you just want to ask every single question up under the sun the first week of training camp. And I'm like, we're going to be spending the next couple months together. Like, you got plenty of time to ask a lot of questions. But it's a good group and a good core group of guys that have come into the locker room. I really enjoyed D-Rob on the defensive line. Even though you have 2 offensive linemen that were drafted in this class, D-Rob is somebody that I've taken a liking to. I like his game. I like his presence. I like him as a person. I think he's a high character individual. So really been somebody that I've been impressed with and really like how he's going to mature and how he's going to be able to contribute to this franchise for a long time.
Yeah, definitely. Another guy I got to mention is Jon Gaines. He's coming back off of the knee injury. He actually said that you were one of the guys in his corner as he was kind of coming back up through the ranks. And just what are you seeing out of him this year?
It's been pleasant to be at this point in my career and actually have experienced exactly what he's going through, coming off of total knee reconstruction. And I told him, man, it's harder for him than it is for me, because at tackle, you have some room to be able to give up ground grudgingly and be able to take some pressure off that knee. In the box where he's playing at, whether it's guard or center, there's not a lot of room. So he has to put his foot in the ground, and he has to trust and have confidence that his body is doing what it's been prepared to do. So he's been somebody that I've been spending a lot of time with, just talking through technique, talking through the mental warfare that you have to go through personally as you're coming back from an injury like that, and the trust that's needed. But the thing is Jon, hurt his finger. I think he dislocated his finger like during the game. And this some guys walking off the field was like, well, at least it's not my knee. So he's in a good place mentally. We just got to find a way to get him to continue to trust his body, trust himself, and build that confidence that's needed to be the player that we all know he is.
Yeah.
Another guy who's heading into his second year is Paris, and he's making the switch up there on the line. I know that you've done that too. What do you think of the move for him?
It's looking good. He made some changes to his stance during the offseason. He spent some time with Andrew Whitworth this offseason, so spent time with people who play, that position, that left tackle position, for a long time. He had a great left tackle last year, and DJ Humphrey. I've played that position, for a majority of my career. So it's a lot of conversations that happen and that we talk through about how we see the world, how we see rushers, how we see hand placement, how we see angles. His body type is different than my body type. How do we think about that, and how do we think about the ways in which we're going to attack defenders? So it's a really good conversation and a lot of good back and forth that we do, just to see how we can continue to better ourselves and how we can continue to better the way in which we approach the game and the way in which we attack defenders on Sundays.
Yeah, definitely. Looking at more of the changes going on, obviously new regime, second year going into it. What are some of the biggest differences you've seen from this one compared to the last one, and why do you think things, from the outside looking in, it looks like things are clicking a little bit more this time around?
I would just say it's chemistry and it's confidence, the two C's. I think that you have the opportunity, and we've had the opportunity to actually have people that have been together for now 2 seasons. Everybody's trying to figure each other out in the first season. You don't know if you trust them. You don't know what they're saying. If they're grunting this way, you don't know what they're really grunting about. If they're yelling this way, you don't know what they're really yelling about. Like, you really have a great sense of what the coaches want, and the coaches understand who the players are, and it's about finding a way to put the roster together to do what it needs to do. And you got Monty doing a really good job in that regard. But I think you had JG doing a really good job of being able to evolve his process, but also at the same time continue to push us as a team, hold us accountable. When we're not playing well, he says we suck. When we're doing some things better, he's saying we're getting better and we're on the rise. And I think being able to have somebody that is really direct and blunt about where this team is I think is beneficial for us as we continue to move forward.
Yeah.
Do you personally feel more comfortable in this regime than you did the prior one?
For me, the thing is you have to evolve as a player. Going into year 13, you don't have time to really think about the past, nor do you have time to think about the future. You have to live in the present. And I would say, as it pertains to where I'm at right now, this organization and what JG has brought to the equation is helping us be a better football team because of the process that he talks about on a consistent basis. So no disrespect to the previous regime, no disrespect to the future regime. But what we got going on right now is a process orientation of being a high caliber team. JG talks about mode of play all the time. Those are the things that we care most about. And I would say, as it pertains to where we're at right now, as we sit today, those are the things that are most important important. And those are the things as a player that you should be thinking about, caring about, because none of that other stuff matters. Who was here 2 years ago, 3 years ago, 5 years ago? Who's going to be here 3 years from now, 4 years from now? Like, what matters is being in the present. Because the thing is, when you play on Sunday, it's that snap. And then you go to the next snap. And then you go to the next snap. You don't have time to think about something 10 snaps ago because you got to worry about the snap that's right in front of you. You don't have time to worry about the snap that's, 10 snaps from now. You got to worry about the snap that's at hand right now. And I would say, for me, the mindset is really focused on being here and now and in the present with what we have going on and what we're doing organizationally.
Yeah. Well, speaking of evolving, I got to ask you this because last time you were over at Arizona Sports, Kyler Murray got brought up. You mentioned that he needed to grow up a little more, be a little more mature. From the outside looking in, again, it looks like he's taking some steps forward in that regard. What are you seeing out of the quarterback now this year?
I'm seeing comfort, honestly. I'm seeing comfort in the fact that he feels good about the system. You can tell that there is a level of swag that's starting to come back into his game, and it's a level of intimacy with the system that you want to see from a quarterback. So I would say he's taken the bull by the horns and really has found a way to entrench himself in this offense and understand this offense in an intimate manner. And I think that bodes well for us as a team. So as it pertains to him continuing to mature as a quarterback, I think that is accurate. He's continuing to mature and he's continuing to be what we all know that he can be in this particular system and for this particular franchise as being, a top quarterback in the National Football League. And I think this system is allowing him to thrive and do the things that he does very, very well and being able to put that on display. And I think the organization has done a really good job of surrounding him with pieces. Mike Wilson, Marvin, JC, you got the young buck and running back. Like they've done a really good job of putting pieces around him. Greg Dortch, you got an offensive line that I think has done a superb job of keeping him upright. And then we got to find a way to do that consistently throughout the year, especially with the way in which we've been running the ball and ran the ball last year and been able to take some of those good things into this year. Yeah.
Well, we don't want to keep you too long. We know you got chess. I think you got to get to.
Yeah.
So before we let you go, man, we want to just open up the stage for you. I know you give back. That's a big part of who you are. Whether it's water, technical divide, all that stuff. So just what's next? What do you have in store? Where can people go to learn more about what you do off the field?
Any of those social media platforms that are out, Instagram, Twitter, or X, LinkedIn, all talking about where I'll be at. So always spending time with United Food Bank. So always spending time there, working with a couple campaigns that, a couple of local news stations are doing in and around hunger. You just had the Summer of 100 Meals. I think that's the campaign, but the Summer Meals campaign that NBC, I think, does. So, I mean, it's so many news stations here. But everybody is finding ways to talk about the hunger issue. So I'm always involved in those things. So, look out for that. And then, working with a couple tech companies around some of the tech competencies that we want our young people to have here in Arizona.
Awesome. Well, man, we really appreciate the time. Thank you again for stopping by. I think you've got the record now for most guest appearances on Cardinals Corner, so we got to figure out something to give you for taking the time out of your day, taking the time out of the off day. We really appreciate it, man. And yeah, we'll be watching like always, man. So good luck this year, and I know I'll see you around the facility.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much. Have a good one now.
Yeah, you too, man.
Cardinals Corner.
All right, well, that was Kelvin Beachum with a lot of knowledge. Looking forward to talking to him again. Can't thank him enough for joining the pod. But as always, you can follow myself and Lauren on social media, TDrake for Sports, Colville_Lauren. You can follow the show at AZ Cards Corner on X. And like always, be sure to keep it locked on the Arizona Sports app, 98.7 and ArizonaSports.com as we continue to bring you the most up-to-date Cardinals info that we can bring you. And with that, we will see you guys next time.